So welcome to the monthly regional abatement meeting. My name is Lucia Perfetti-Clark. I'm the project director for the Opioid Settlement Fund. I do see that we have a couple of new folks joining us, which is great. We're happy that the word is getting out beyond the LGUs into some of our OLEs and our 5 cities folks. So that's great. I don't have a fancy PowerPoint today, and I don't have a ton to tell you, but a couple of updates that I did want to go over. So mostly everyone, there's very few exceptions. So I won't talk about the exceptions because I think they know who they are as well, but mostly everyone should have received their letter about payment for your $24. So that letter was simply to notify you of the dollar amount so that you can get planning. Payments will happen over the month of January. So it's a lot of payments to get out. So those will be done in batches over the month of January. So in the event that you are curious about where it is, when it's coming, I would just ask you to hold off until we have the regional abatement call in January. We'll certainly have an update of how far we've gotten through those payments, but trust that that is the goal. So payments are coming in January. I want to say thank you to everyone who has already participated in our focus groups. These have been very informative to let us know sort of what your process has been. So many of you are doing some awesome innovative work, but also careful planning and utilizing existing resources. So it's been really great for us to hear, and it's definitely going to help shape sort of how we ask you about the dollars moving forward. We do want to get a little bit more robust reporting than just the dollar amounts into the buckets. So those focus groups are really to help us inform that. That being said, we are keeping in mind that we want reporting to not be a burden for you. So more on that to come as we finish up focus groups in early January, and expect to know exactly what reporting will look like by the end of January. So with that said, I guess I just want to put out there, and we have some ideas in mind from specific folks that we have talked to, is that in the meetings for next calendar year, we would like some of you to start presenting at these meetings, because we feel like it would be very beneficial for you to hear from each other, both process, how did you plan your dollars, but also specifics, if you've got like exciting projects or innovations that you are willing to share. We think you all are going to learn a lot from each other. So if that sounds like something you might be ready to do in the first quarter, if you could send us an email to that OSF project management, which Celine will throw into the chat, that would be great. We also have in mind a couple of people who we've heard from in the focus groups who we're going to be reaching out to as well. I also wanted to tell you about local impact round 2. So Celine will put that RFA link in the chat window. We awarded, I believe, 18 awards under local impact for round 1. Many of you folks on this call were helpful in making sure that the organizations who qualified saw that announcement. So round 2 only differs in that the total revenue allowed for the organization is a little bit higher. So we kept it low in round 1 to make sure that we got to those very small 501(c)(3)s, and now we just raise that up a little bit. Still want to get to smaller 501(c)(3)s, but now the total revenue is $750,000 for the 501(c)(3). So those folks are eligible to apply under round 2. I guess let me stop there and see if there's any questions. Debbie, you look like you might want to say something. No?
No, just good afternoon, and running from call to call, so sorry I was a little late.
No worries. And then the only other thing I'll say is that we're getting excited about having some additional data to share about opioid settlement fund. As many of you know, we have our harm reduction efforts in the test strips and the naloxone distribution. So we're very excited that we're going to be able to share some of the data on just how widely those materials were distributed. And you should expect to see that on our website, I would say, before the end of the year. And that should give you an idea of like the level and style and approach to sharing data that we're going to be taking as we move forward with the opioid settlement fund. But I don't have them for today. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, a letter, yes. I should say questions for the benefit of the group.
Well, can I just say we were pleasantly surprised when we received our letter in Orange County. It was more than we projected. It was difficult to use whatever formula you put together to project those numbers. So when it came in, we're very happy. We have an RFP out right now, and we're hopeful the proposals received in January, this is our second round of RFP, that we'll get some really good projects to fund. So thank you.
You're welcome. That's great. That's awesome. And you're right. It is hard to do that projection. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be true for at least the next couple of years, as settlements continue and some settlements change. Those charts are an estimation. So, but I'm glad this year you were pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, hi, this is Michael from Westchester. I want to echo what Darcy said. We really appreciate it, and it's already going to good use. I don't know if there's any updates regarding the tool in terms of reporting or time we should expect it. I'm sure all of us are gathering as much information and outcomes and evaluation, but is there a time frame?
Yeah, we definitely want to know exactly what we'll be asking you by the end of January. That being said, you will have the reporting requirements in hand by March 1st, and you'll have the whole month to complete it. I think one of the things that we're struggling with is everyone's taking a vastly different approach. As you all know, as a group, you're quite different from each other, but our feeling is that you're all going to be reporting not just to us, but to others, right? You're going to be reporting to your legislatures. You're going to be reporting to your community. And so, we want to sort of help reduce your workload and think about the ways in which you'll already be reporting and see if those are also documents that we could collect and make use of. That being said, we're going to try to find some common metrics that we could ask the whole group about. I will say this year, we should all enjoy this coming year when we ask you about year one, because that'll be the last time that it's not confusing what dollar amount we're talking about. I joke, but we're from after this year, we're going to be looking for you to tell us how much of the total you've received you've spent down. Because we understand that these were large amounts in many cases, and they won't be spent over 1 year. So we're going to do our best to come up with a system whereby we're tracking the total spend down, if that's helpful, Michael. I don't know.
No, definitely. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
I would just add a couple things. One, we do performance-based contracting, so if it's helpful for you to have what metrics we're currently collecting on those contracts, we'd be happy to share those with you. And the other, our challenge is once you fund it and then you need to sustain it over a period of time, you're reserving the funds. Although we love the flexibility of not having an end date for spend, that is consideration. So it looks like there's this huge pot and you go, but why are you only spending this much? Well, because we need another $1 million for next year and the year after to continue some of the programs we funded. So you know that challenge and you'll be able to see that in the data.
Yeah, and absolutely would love to see those metrics that you all are asking of your grantees, right? And that would be super helpful. So again, I would say sending that to the project management inbox would be awesome. Any other questions for the good of the group?
When is the next reporting survey going to be coming out? I believe the last one was like August or something.
So that one we had to do because we're required to ask you yearly, and we had to put together a report for the governor that was due just last month. Moving forward, we're always going to give it to you in March for the previous calendar year. So you'll have your reporting requirements on March 1st, and they'll be due back to us by the end of March. I think this year I'm not picking the 31st because it might be a Sunday. I don't know why that sticks out in my mind, but someone can look at the calendar. But it will be like that final business day in March that you'll have to report on the previous calendar year. We're kind of also hoping that like that 3-month lag helps you really tell us about the the picture of the $23.
Yeah, the issue for us was in statute, it said we were supposed to get reports by August 1st. But the timing just doesn't really work because you hadn't had the funds for that long or whatever, but we couldn't argue with statute. So we we had to say, give us reports by August 1st, right? But going forward, as Lucia said, and I think Connie has shared, on earlier calls, we really wanted to make it more convenient for everyone and base it on your real year. So that's why we're moving it to being that you'll report, but, so that it's by the end of December, so you're starting your new year, but we're giving you till March to give us that report, right? But I think we still have to give the report in August 1st. But we're not like saying now, get it all done by August 1st. We're actually going to meet it in an earlier time frame. But the idea was to meet it with like the real way that you guys look at your funding. That was the hope anyway, right? So we wanted to just make it easier. And
Great. So we'll look for it in March sometime. Thank you.
And so just to follow up on that point, just like it was true for this year, submitting that report in March is what is going to make you eligible for your following year's payment. So if we are not in receipt of those reports, then we hold on to your payment until we have the report. So if we don't have any more questions, I would just say I look forward to receiving your performance-based metrics in the inbox, receiving those eager raised hands to present at a regional abatement meeting in the following year, because it's got to be better than listening to us every month. I think you guys are going to learn a lot from each other. So many of you are doing like really creative things with your money, and so it's going to help tell the story of your work. And again, just helping us get out the word about local impact round 2. So I will give you the rest of your 2 o'clock hour, and have an amazing weekend and a great, safe holiday season. And we will see you in January.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.